There's nothing better than the start of a new season, and that statement has never been truer than here in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship, presented by Engine Oil Direct. My name is Andrew Woodhouse. It's round one of the championship here at Brands Hatch. I'm with Adam Bath for this one. Alex Simpson will be along later. I think he's having a sleep somewhere. And Adam, Brands Hatch Indy first up. David Baker's trying to defend his title. He's got the #1 plate on his car.
Yes, good evening Andrew and good evening everyone. It's great to be back after a 2-week break from Season 7, and yes, David Baker will be eager to defend his title. It's 26 laps here around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit for the first race of the evening. On pole position though, it is a former champion, Andreas Katz, on pole position there in the Oculus car, and alongside him on the front row of the grid will be Simon Field. Simon Field had a good season in Season 7, ended up finishing in around 5th place in the standings. 3rd place is Dan Hunt. He took the most victories last season, with Steve Heppard in 4th place for the new Team Carnage. In 5th place is Alex Smolensky for the new team Elite Martini. They were called Elite 220 last season. Then for you that are eager watchers of the BSRTC, David Baker's in 6th place, his customary 6th position. In 7th place it's Russell Layla, 8th it is Steve Walker, 9th it's Dan Kraft, and in 10th place it's Halit Ertas, and then into the lower half of the top 20. 11th place is John Bays for the new Fusion team, 12th place is Lloyd Bond, 13th is Dan Blake, 14th is Robert Plumley, 15th is Ashley Blake Hood, who I believe is an independent for this race, and then in 16th it is Peter Newman, 17th Julian Janowski, 18th place is Robert Fagg, a returnee to the championship, 19th is John Roberts, and in 20th place is Robert Graham. And Andrew, we have got a capacity grid for this new season. It's definitely going to be a great evening of racing.
Yeah, indeed we have, and you have to think it's a 26 lap race, Adam. It's the longest race in terms of laps that we have all season in the BSRTC. You have to think traffic may be a problem later on for these guys. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Andreas Katz returning to the series full time, taking pole position, and really giving Oculus 360 the start they needed, Adam.
Yeah, Oculus last season they won the most races. However, that doesn't win you championships. They ended up finishing in 6th place after taking the most victories, so they'll be hoping to turn that face around this season, as of course Andreas Katz is a former champion in the series. Smolensky in 2nd, he came close to taking the championship last season for Elite Martini, so you better watch out for him as well. We've got 30 seconds away from the start of this race. I don't know what sort of mentality these drivers will be having, Andrew. It's the first race of the season. Will they be going calm, or will they be going all out fighting straight away?
A difficult one, isn't it? The first race of the new season. You want to get on the board with points. You don't want to do anything stupid, but as I found out to my cost, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, that mentality doesn't always hold up throughout the race, Adam. You can get tempted, you can make mistakes. We're going to see who can keep their cool today. However, I do think that we're going to be in for an absolute barnstormer. Such a tight track, Adam, such a short track, that it has to be close racing here, surely.
Yeah, I think it's always the best circuit to start a brand new season of touring car racing, on the short track style nature that Brands Hatch Indy Circuit provides. This is the last race, in fact, of the 2014 year. We'll be back not next Thursday because it's Christmas Day, or the Thursday after that because it's New Year's Day. We'll be back on the Friday, January the 2nd.
January, yes.
Yeah, 2015 for a race at Lime Rock Park. So once again, completely different layout of circuit, but we're focusing on this Brands Hatch track tonight.
Indeed we are. Adam, couple of slight surprises on the grid as well. Steve Hefford all the way up in 4th, and the other one to pick out, Halit Ertas in 10th. So they've made, it looks like a good start to the season for Oculus. They're looking really strong. See what happens.
And a great start to the season for Team Carnage as well, and for Fusion. So we could have a brand new team mixing it with the guys at the front of the pack in a few moments' time.
New car liveries as well. BSRTC this season. See Peter Newman Media as well now with blue cars on the front row. Simon Field is there as well. For the first time this season then, the revs are going to rise here at Brands Hatch. The green light is on and Katz wobbled a little bit off the start, but not quite enough to get Simon Field alongside him. Dan Hunt's having a look down in the inside towards Paddock Hill as wide goes a couple of drivers getting very sideways in the background with 3 wide down towards Druids, Adam.
Yep, everyone sort of making it through cleanly as we head up towards Druids, but Katz still has the lead from Simon Field.
Hefford's off on the inside of the of Druids as one of the Pete Newman media cars. Oh, there's contact in Graham Hill Bend between Hefford and David Baker. Baker, I think he may have a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, and it's anyone's guess who's going to get 10th position as we head through the Indy circuit. One of the Oculus cars slowing down, but as we head through clearways and onto the front straight to complete the first lap, it is Andreas Katz leading by half a second, but Simon Fields managed to pull a 1.3 second gap away from Dan Hunt, so those two breaking away already.
Steve Walker in fourth. Remember, Adam, he won race 1 of last season as well. So he's got a chance of... He always starts the season strongly, and he's looking to the outside now of Daniel Hunt into Druids. But look, Alexander Smolensky, Adam, he's not shy, is he? He won the last race of season 7. He'll be looking to try and get on the board early again.
Yeah, he's got the momentum in the Elite Martini car as Dan Hunt runs a bit wide. I don't know whether you pick up an incident point for that. We'll surely be keeping on that throughout the season. Steve Walker, of course. Oh, Dan Hunt sliding the car all over the place there through the Indy part of this racetrack, up into clearways once again. Still 25 laps to go, but these drivers are on edge. After all, it is the first race of the season.
Yeah, and you have to have a good setup for Brands Hatch. It looks like quite an easy track on paper, but got to get that car turning through the medium to high speed corners. It is quite a fast track, isn't it, for these touring cars, Adam?
Yeah, very quick indeed, plus a few slow corners as well as we head up to Druids. Steve Walker going to try and go around the outside of Dan Hunt, but has to get back out of it, tries to get the cut back. He does put a few wheels over the grass. Will that give him a slowdown? No, it won't, but Smolensky is sniffing blood right there, down the inside into Graham Hill Bend, and now down the back straight, down towards the Indy circuit. And these three squabbling has allowed Russell Laidler in 6th and the car in 7th, Dan Craft, to close in as well as we head up to clearways.
Craft very late on the brakes in clearways. You see the 5-car train now going through that long right-hand corner onto the main straight. We're going to see the Elite Martini car of Alexander Smolensky. He's going to have a look at Steve Walker. Walker gets the slipstream from... oh, goodness me! Smolensky up the inside, and already contact in this first race for Alex Smolensky.
Yeah, that was a typical touring car style move by Alex Smolensky. We didn't expect anything less from him, but he's now up into 4th place. He's sure racking up those incident points already. Steve Walker trying to get back in the mix to get past Russell Laidler.
I wonder if there was a slight bit of netcode there, Adam, because it didn't look especially dirty from Smolensky, but we'll see. We may be able to have a look at that later on in the replay, but you see where Andreas Katz and Simon Field are. They're well clear. Field looks at the moment like he's got slightly the faster Kia Optima at the moment for Peter Newman Media. He's only 0.6 of a second behind on the previous lap. He comes over the line this time, and the gap's down to 3.7 tenths. Oh, and Katz is dropping 2 wheels in the gravel. You sort of get away with that there, but you don't want to be making a habit of it.
Yeah, that seems to be a customary line for these Kia Optimas through Paddock Hill Bend. They seem to understeer a bit wide on the exit, and as you can just see in the distance there in front of Andreas Katz, we have got some back markers already. Just an update on Steve Walker. I don't know where he's sustained further damage from that contact with Smolensky, but he has pulled the car into the pit, so that's a shame for him. He was running in 4th.
Just shows the field spread, doesn't it? On this short track, we've only done 4 laps. Martin Brandon is the first car who's about to be made victim to the leaders. He has a slight bit of damage as well. May have had a spin earlier on. John Bays slightly further in front, and then it's Robert Plumley as well, who's had a poor start to the race. He's down in 28th place.
Yeah, Martin Brandon driving for the new Team Fusion this season, and he carefully gets out of the way and lets these two leaders by. Last time around doing similar lap times, Katz and Fields 46.2s, but Katz was quicker by 100th of a second. That's how fine the margins are in this opening race. Dan Hunt is in 3rd, Smolensky in 4th. The gap between those two just under half a second, then it's half a second back to Dan Craft in 5th. Laidler in 6th, Steve Hefford 7th, Fag in 8th, Ashley Blake Hood in 9th, so he's doing a good job as an independent effort. And then rounding up the top 10 is Peter Newman, so he's managed to gain a few spots since the start of the race, Andrew.
Yeah, and I've just seen one of the elite cars, that's Ellie Stevens. He put a move on Jay Wright, that was for, well, 26th place. So Stevens, who was 32nd on the grid, he won a couple of races last season, Adam. He's got a big fight back to do at the moment.
Yeah, big fight back he'll need. Hopefully he'll be a beneficiary of the reverse grid. The battle at the moment is shaping up once again for third place, in fact, Andrew, now as we head through this Indy section of the track and up towards Clearways. Dan Hunt in third. Last time around, him and Smolenski did set similar lap times, but it seems to be the Elite Martini that's got the upper hand now.
Fantastic shots coming through that fast section where you'd normally turn left up into Surtees. This Kia Optimus sliding around under braking, the back end very loose on these front wheel drive cars. For those people who've not tuned in before, they've never really seen a British touring car race, front wheel drive cars, which really it's off the power, isn't it, where the cars have their best turning ability, Adam?
Yeah, it is, and we'll see it now as we come out to Graham Hill Bend. Smolenski ride with the Oculus 360 car. That car further back didn't help as traffic. I think that was Martin Brandon again as we head up towards Clearways. Dan Hunt, of course, blocking that inside line. It is very hard to force an overtake. You have to probably give a bit of contact to get that overtake done in Clearways.
That's the old Matt Neal, isn't it?
Yes, of course, the Matt Neal move in the British touring cars. We've seen him plenty of times. Lunge down the inside going into that final corner, and as we go across the line again, Smolenski still keeping his distance. I don't know whether he's just trying to keep his composure after that bit of contact with Steve Walker early in the race, but he's still piling on the pressure on Dan Hunt as we head into Druids.
With two wheels in the air coming through Paddock Hill Bend, as is customary if you're on the really fast line. Smolenski very close behind, and that really beautifully liveried Peter Newman media car behind as well, Daniel Kraft. They've got two cars in the top five. Adam, strong start for them. They made a big leap in the championship, didn't they? From, I believe it was bottom of the constructors in season 6, second last year. They've got every chance of winning the title this time.
Yeah, and two of their drivers finished inside the top 5 in the driver standings, with Dan Kraft eventually finishing second and Simon Field finishing in 5th position. So a fantastic season for Peter Newman. I have to say, neither of us probably saw that coming after the torrid season they had in season 6, and they're keeping up this momentum once again up into Druid. Smolenski, though, still trying to get past Dan Hunt. Elite Martini last season finished 3rd in the standings, had a bit of a fantastic season with Ellis Stevens taking a number of wins, of really getting back his old form, the two-time champion, as well as Alex Smolenski as well. So Elite Martini, one of the contenders to watch for in this championship, as Smolenski puts two wheels over that curb. The car's all over the place there going into Clearways, but in 5th place, Dan Kraft, he is keeping a watchful eye on this pair.
Yeah, just going back to Martin Brandon and John Bays, they're actually multiple laps down. They must have had some kind of contact earlier on, but we've lost Colin Steele, we've lost Steve Walker. Brandon is 3 laps down, Bays is 2 laps down. Also, Dan Blake's 1 lap behind as well. I think he's still going, but he's a lap down on that one. Any news from the pits there, Adam?
Yeah, good to see not as many cars out as I'd thought we'd get for the first race of the season. We've got 28 cars, I think, still on the lead lap in this race. So
you may not be so lucky in races 2 and 3.
Yeah, we might not be that lucky as well. Race 2 and race 3 usually the most exciting of the races in the every Thursday night. Out of Clearways down the front straight again. Dan Hunt starting to get a bit of advantage now over Smolenski. The gap just over half a second. Let's have a look at the gap up front. Cats last time around did a 46.2, Sandfield did a 46.1, so the gap seems to be hovering around half a second between the 1st and 2nd places.
Great battle going on for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. That's Robert Fagg, Pete Newman, Ashley Blake Hood and Laura Bond. They're 2x2 going into Druids. I hope Alex can get this on camera because it's a cracking scrap here.
Yeah, Fagg, I think just got overtook there down to 9th place. That elevates Peter Newman up into 8th, and Laura Bond, experienced in this championship, still yet to get a win. She is watching this battle unfold with glee, hoping that these three end up falling off the racetrack. But great to see 2 Team Carnage cars, Andrew, inside the top 10 in their first event. That is some awesome stuff. They have got some good talent, especially Ben Gregory and Robert Fagg, both former drivers in the championship, so they're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, they've had success so far today. The only difficulty I think we're going to get is that I couldn't tell the difference between Fagg's car and Ashley Blake Hood's car, so we may be in a little bother with that until they can, but they have said they'll get the liveries updated. It's a brand new team, literally a very new team. They've only just got the paint scheme done today. Very, very nice, I must add, though. It looks very sleek.
Laura Bond seems to be the one that's on the move, though. Peter Newman
she's right there, isn't she? She's
yes.
going to look.
Peter Newman starting to pull away, and Yeah, she nearly put a move down the inside into clear where she's trying to set up Ashley Blake Hood in front of her as they now come out of the final corner. She puts 2 wheels on the grass. That's going to slow her down. And that Lugnut's car behind, that is David Baker, our series champion. He's not had a good opening race of the season as we head up towards Paddock Hill.
No, if you remember, he had contact with Hefford, I believe, on the first lap. And yeah, he's ended up down in, where's that? That's 12th place, isn't it, for Dave Baker? So yeah, he's got work cut out for him. He's going to take the inside line there through Graham Hill. He's going to try and get Laura Bond, catch her napping now. Ashley Blake Hood's going to block off one of these drivers. Baker's having a look. He's through on Laura Bond.
Yeah, great move there by David Baker. Really boxed Laura Bond in there between the Team Carnage car, and now he's setting his sights after Ashley Blake Hood.
Quick work.
Only half a lap and he's already getting past the Team Carnage car as we head down the front straight now, and he is clear. So David Baker manages to gain 2 spots in 1 lap.
Andreas Katz lapped 46.2. What's David Baker been doing in the race so far? Yeah, roughly the same lap times as the leader, so it was a bit slower that time, understandably, but yeah, our season 7 champion is on a roll. He's got that number 1 plate, like I say, he wants to be number 1 again. Got every chance, I think, Adam, of having a strong season here.
Yes, he is, and I just want to direct your attention back to the battle for third, Andrew, because once again Dan Hunt under immense pressure from Smolensky. David Baker still...
Yeah, and he got a poor exit out of clearways, Adam, as well, which didn't help.
Yeah, exactly. Alex Smolensky looks to the inside but thinks better of it, just trying to distract Dan Hunt going into Paddock Hill bend. Smolensky misses the apex just a little bit there through Paddock Hill. That's going to set him back a few miles an hour as we head up to Druids. We're now over halfway through this opening race. We've got 11 laps to go. These laps are sure flying by, Andrew.
Indeed. The key for Smolensky, Adam, we spoke to him at the end of last season, and he says that he does get quite nervous when he's in pressurised battles. And I tell you what, if he can keep his cool, he's got half a chance of becoming the champion this season, because he showed some real pace. It's just he got in some silly incidents, especially early on in the season, that really just tarnished it a bit for him.
Yeah, we see him come good all of a sudden, but then all of a sudden he'll go back to his old self. Even though he won the final race of the season at Alton Park, he still did that through a bit of contact, if I do remember correctly.
A bit of contact's quite a polite way of putting it. It was quite a sizable bit of contact, but he's got the talent, hasn't he? He just needs to control, to get to calm down. And I know a lot of really good drivers have had that similar problem before, and how you deal with that makes you a better driver and a better competitor. But I'll tell you who is an excellent competitor is Andreas Katz, but he's boxed in the traffic now, Adam.
Yeah, I saw that whilst we were looking at the battle in front of us on the distance, that these guys were having to work their way through traffic. If I'm very much mistaken, I think that is Andreas Katz's... No, it's not, sorry, apologies, but Andreas Katz going down the inside of that traffic into Paddock Hill bend. Will Simon Field do the same?
Just, didn't he?
Yeah, just. I think that was Simon Field's do or die moment. He didn't want to lose any time to Katz, so he had to lunge down the inside there.
It was Dan Blake who's actually a lap behind those cars that are battling with him. So, and also in that little scrap is Ben Palmer for Team Carnage. Palmer's on the lead lap though in 20. Oh no, he's not. He's 1 lap down in 25th. Blake is now 2 down, I believe, and then he's got Robert Plumley behind him as Palmer, and then Jay Wright as well. So Ben Palmer, we saw him last season really, looking strong all the way down in this race. That's, quite surprised really.
Yeah, Ben Palmer changed teams last season and it seems to come good for him. He managed to take a few victories during the season, but now he's gone to Team Carnage. I don't know whether the setup's changed, but he's now languishing down the order in 26th place and outside of that top 20 reverse grid spot. Oh, look at that move, fantastic, whoever that was down the inside. Is that Robert Plumley or where's my seventh page? It was Jay Wright. Yeah, fantastic move down the inside into Druids. A bit of contact, but I think that caught Ben Palmer a bit by surprise.
Tell you what, he came from a long way back. There's enough. That's a pretty good move. In the end, it's not a traditional overtake, but yeah, he'll take it. I think there's more of a Gran Turismo overtake, that, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. As we come across the line, Katz once again starting to pull a bit of an advantage now over Field, 7/10 of a second. Kraft's only 4/10 of a second there behind Smolensky.
Plumley's well into the gravel there.
Yeah,
managed to survive it.
He's looking at that gravel pit, isn't very deep going into Paddock Hill. He's managed to keep all 4 wheels rolling and managed to rejoin in 24th place. The battle for third, though, Andrew, it's still going on. 3 cars still battling for that final podium spot.
Yeah, it is indeed, and what a scrap we've got in round one of the season. It's 30 or 33 races this season? 11 rounds?
Yeah, so 33 races.
33 races, this is number 1. And we've got a battle for the final step on the podium. Hunt, Walensky, Kraft. 3 very experienced drivers in this series now. So, going to see who can come out on top. They've got 3 seconds on Steve Hefford. I've got to say, Steve Hefford this is a great performance considering, you know, where he was in season 6, Adam. He was you know, well and truly in the midfield and struggling for any sort of results, and, you know, fingers crossed for him that he gets this one.
Yeah, Steve Hefford, another driver for Team Carnage. Team Carnage, of course, doing a fantastic job in this opening race. Just an update, Robert Fagg, he was driving for Team Carnage. He has had to go back to the pits. I don't know what's happened, but he's now being shown down in 29th place as Smolenski runs a bit wide, trying to get the best straight line speed on the exit of Clearways, but that's now leaving him open to attack from the car behind, which is Steve Hefford.
We've lost Robert Fagg, Hallett Ertas, Steve Walker and Colin Steele, and Martin Brandon as well, who's in the pit lane. John Bays is still running. He's the last car still running in the race. He's 2 laps down. Then Blake's 2 laps down as well. Palmer, Wright, Plumley and Richardson and now Von Glan have been lapped. David Brock's been lapped as well by the leading pair who are flying away. They're 6.7 seconds ahead of the 3rd place man Daniel Hunt, who in fairness has been having to defend, but you can see now, Adam, that Hunt is actually getting a little bit of a gap to Smolenski, or at least he was. Smolenski very late on the brakes into Clearways.
Yeah, the gap seems to be yo-yoing backwards and forwards. I don't know whether that's Dan Hunt just preserving his tyres or Smolenski just doing the odd push every now and again. We've got 4 laps to go now in this opening race. Smolenski looking down the inside. He's way too far back to mount any challenge. And yes, he puts 2 wheels into the gravel. But look at that traffic they're coming up now, Andrew. Oh, this is surely going to affect the battle for third.
Richardson and Gehagen. 15 is late. Goodness me, 15 is Von Glan. Oh.
Now Dan Hunt's coming up on an Elite Martini car as we head up to Clearways. Will he get out of the way? Yes, good job by him. Number 19.
Richardson, that one, I think.
Yeah, so Richardson, experienced driver in the championship, manages to get out of the way and allows his teammate Smolenski through. I thought I was going to do a lot more damage to this fight for third, but there's still Dan Hunt in third, Smolenski 4th and Kraft in 5th.
I just want to give a little shout out to another great battle that's going on the track with 3 laps to go. Is the battle for 16th place. That's between James Gehagen, Robert Graham and Jim Flanagan. They were nose to tail at one point. P10 is shaping up as well. That's Laura Bond and Ashley Blake Hood. They're side by side through Paddock Hill.
Yep, Blake Hood and up towards Druids.
Laura's late on the brakes, so is Ashley.
Round the outside, and Laura Bond has got the move done,
before Graham Hill. But Laura got through a few laps ago, and then Ashley Blake Hood stuck there. So this is a very close battle, very closely matched. Stephen Burke's there for Peter Newman Media. He's lurking. He can see a top 10 position just in front of him, a couple of seconds down the road. Just have a look quickly as well at who may be getting the reverse grid at the moment. Yulian Janowski's 15th. Hagen 17th, Jim Flanagan 17th, Graham 18th, John Roberts 19th, and Ellis Stevens is the last man on the lead lap in 20th.
Also, it looks like Ashley Blake Hood is driving for Team Carnage this season, or maybe just for this race meeting. I apologise for saying that he is an independent, but it looks like from what I've got that he is driving now for Team Carnage as we head up to Clearways. We're about to start, I think, the final lap of the race. Katz has a 1.6 second lead, and still Dan Kraft cannot get past Alex Smolenski. The gap is still less than half a second, but Smolenski looks like if everything goes well, he should manage to hold on to that 4th place in this opening race.
Yeah, Hunt's got David Brock in front of him, but that shouldn't really be much of a problem. Yeah, Smolenski under a little pressure from Kraft, but he can't really get close enough, can he? We're on the final lap now, and we're going to watch Andreas Katz as he's going to come round Clearways, Adam.
Yeah, an impeccable drive by Katz. There was a bit of a scare in the middle part of the race with all that traffic, but he managed to keep his head. As a former champion, you would expect that from him. Out to the final corner, and he takes the first race victory of the season.
Yeah, and that's really good for Andreas Katz because, you know, he did a couple of races last season as a privateer and struggled a bit, had some bad results, but what a way to start the season. Great confidence boosting performance. He was really good. And also, you know, he withstood a lot of pressure from Simon Field, didn't he? Peter Newman Media looking strong.
Yeah, once again, Peter Newman Media. Simon Field last season finished 5th, but he now is vying for that top spot after a great season last time around. Dan Hunt finished in 3rd. Smolenski was just over 1/10 of a second ahead of Darren Craft in the end, with Steve Peppers in 6th. 7th was Russell Layla, 8th was Pete Newman, 9th was David Baker in the end after that bit of contact at the start of the race, and in 10th place in the end was Laura Bond, so Laura managed to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, and look, I think at the reverse grid very shortly, bring Alex in for a moment. Are you with us there, mate?
Muted, but yeah, here we go.
There he is. What did you make of that first race, Alex? You know how important it is to get off to a good start. Andreas Katz was flawless, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, from the pole position, didn't put a foot wrong, great start, and didn't make a mistake, and Simon just didn't have any opportunities whatsoever to get past there, so if that's the sign of things come for the rest of the season. The field are going to have their work cut out for sure. Obviously, Katz, we know how quick he is in previous seasons, as Adam touched on as well, previous champion, and couldn't quite run a full schedule last season, otherwise I think he'd been right up there then as well. But yeah, not quite a good start from Baker. I expect to see him bounce back. I mean, he did well to get back up to 9th, but yeah, let's hope for better things for our reigning champion next race.
Indeed, and have a look at the candidates then. It didn't change a lot. It did actually change a lot in the last couple of laps for the 15th to 20th, so let's go through those. Jim Flanagan was 15th, Robert Graham 16th, Ellis Stevens 17th. I think he fought his way back up really well there from 32nd on the grid. John Roberts 18th and Robert Plumley 19th. David Brock rounds out the top 20. We must have lost someone, Adam, on the last lap, did we?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't know who it was, but
I'm sure that Ellis was 20th a lap or two ago, so not really sure. But somebody must have bit the dust. Alex, we'll find out who's going to do the opposite of biting the dust. Who's going to claim pole position for race 2?
Yeah, let's just bring up our magic dice and do our courtesy rolls. Right, so then, for pole position for round 2, we're going to have 15th.
So Jim Flanagan will go on to pole position for Team EOR. So he'll be on the pole position alongside him. Will be James Gahagan. So 2 Team EOR cars on the pole position. Let's hope on the front row of the grid. Let's hope they don't run into each other. 3rd is Julian Janowski. 4th is Stephen Burke, and 5th place will be Ashley Blake Hood. Yeah,
I think all of those men have a chance to win the race. What a really good opener, though, Adam. Excellent performance by Katz, and Brands Hatch definitely the right place to be for the start of the season. Let's see who's going to win race 2. It's Jim Flanagan on pole position. We'll see if he can convert that into a win. So join us again about 15 minutes time for race 2 here on BSRTV.